What are Kudlow and Bolton going to do to push back against the simplistic economics of Ross Navarro? Can they drag the president over to a consensus view on international trade economics?
Well, I think it's interesting that the alignment of Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross with Peter Navarro. I would gently argue that perhaps Secretary Ross is a bit more to the middle than Peter Navarro. Fair. But you're right in the sense that there has been this realignment of sorts in sort of the economic minds inside 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Look, I think that you saw this a bit with what went on with China last week, but you also saw the pull back to the middle. You saw it on steel and aluminum with regards to exemptions. Now it's something like 70% of all of the steel and aluminum global markets could qualify for exemptions with this. Let's wait and see whether or not there'll be any more carve-outs or exemptions with regards to China.
Kevin, I'm going to avoid the stupidity of the 60 Minutes issue last night. Everybody else is dashing on that. We don't need to do that. What we do need to do is look at the chaos in the White House. Tim O'Brien writing in Bloomberg View this morning. Of course, Mr. O'Brien is more authoritative on the president's finances than anyone breathing today. The general had been dispensing wisdom that the president didn't want to hear. While Trump is president, the role should probably be named national security buddy or national security whatever. They must also know that it's not their job to provide advice. Kevin, what are you looking for this week from the chaos at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Well, it's who's staying and who's going, and who's in and who's out. Look, if it's the president's legal team or if it's the president's cabinet, that really has become the dominant storyline here in Washington. What was interesting, and I want to stay away from all that gossip from last night, but what was interesting about it was that it could potentially prove more legal trouble for President Trump's attorney, Michael Cohen. And separate from the gossip of it, in terms of should Bob Mueller look to even target Michael Cohen, the president's personal attorney.
Kevin, I want to interrupt here. Ted Olson told the president no. The number one prestigious go-to lawyer in Washington hung up on the president to get a job. Who's going to be the sharp guy to help this guy with Mr. Mueller? I don't see that person.
Well, President Trump feels that it's President Trump. And I think that if you look at everything that has happened and you talk to folks here who work with the president, they will say, I mean, this is someone who historically in his career has always felt that he's his best attorney-in-chief. And that's what you're seeing play out here as well.